Okay, here we go. Hello guys, how are we all doing? Some big news is I create my YouTuber video, as I say. So let's just see my YouTube video. Right, so let's go to YouTube, for example, and then I'll just explain, like, how's your weekend been. I'll explain about, like, football, darts, and snooker and everything else. Yeah. Right, so right. Okay, so now, hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video, folks. Today we're predicting the FA Cup fourth round for the FA Cup Emirates FA Cup fourth round 2024-2025 season. So much looking forward to, folks. So let's start off on Friday night as Man United versus Leicester. For the second time this season, Manchester United are taking on Leicester City in a cup competition. And with Ruben Vassanossori now in the visiting dugout ahead of this fourth round time, Manchester United have endured a horrible couple of months, but since the appointment of Ruben Amorim. So despite some encouraging results along the way, but they remain focused in the cup. But the Red Devils comes into this one on the back of a 2-0 defeat at home to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford last weekend, due to their second half brace scored by Jean-Philippe Mateta. And that means United had managed just 8 victories in 19 matches, but across all competitions, since Amorim's arrival during the November international break. Leicester City had a minor new manager bounce following early December, appointment of Vassanossori. However, the Foxes then endured a 7-match losing streak in the Premier League before a shock come from behind to 2-1 defeat of Tottenham Hotspur. A fortnight ago, they were then hammered 4-0 by Everton at Goodison Park last weekend, though, which was embarrassing, really, if you are a Leicester fan. So Manchester United have a limited squad in both terms of quality and depth as they approach a hectic final few months of the campaign. But Leicester, though, are expected to heavily rotate, with survival in the Premier League being the priority. So United should get an unconvincing win, but I think Leicester will score, but I think United will win it 3-1. By 3-1. Next matchup tomorrow, Leeds United versus Millwall. Leeds United are chasing an automatic promotion back to the Premier League this season. Daniel Farke's Yorkshireman now. Welcome to off-field rivals Millwall at Allen Road this week. But Leeds United supporters were left instantly frustrated with a playoff final defeat last season. So the primary focus remains on the league ahead of facing Millwall in Yorkshire this weekend. The home team do come into this one on the back of an impressive 2-0 defeat of Coventry City in midweek, with goals from Jayden Bogle and Joe Poirier to back up their 7-0 demolition of Cardiff City last weekend. Leeds are now unbeaten in their last 13 matches across all competitions, with 6 successive clean sheets ahead of this one, but that shows Leeds United are in good form. Millwall, on the other hand, are sitting firmly in the middle of the table. They have also enjoyed an impressive recent run of form, but the Lions' 2-1 defeat of the capital city rivals Queen Park Rangers, but at the Den last weekend, means they have now suffered just 1 defeat in 7 matches under the management of the former Norwich City boss Alex Neil. So Leeds' priority is the league, and what was perhaps shown like the best lacklustre performance in a hard-fought win against League 2 side Harrogate last month. So Millwall want to keep their current feel-good factor, and a small surprise could be in store at Allen Road. I'm going for like Leeds 3, Millwall 1. I think I'm going to go for Leeds United. I think they'll have like a little bit too much quality. I'm going 3-1 to Leeds United. 3-1 to Leeds United. Okay. Yep. Sorry, beg your pardon. Right, Leyton Orient versus Man City. Can Leyton Orient cause one of the biggest upsets in the FA Cup history? Richie Welling's Leyton Orient have prevailed themselves into promotion contention in League One as they welcome to the faltering Giants of Manchester City to East London this weekend. We have a third tier side taking on one of the giants of European football at the Brisbane Roar, with the ingredients of a potential, giant killing there, as Pep Guardiola's City to go on the honours. Before you do a video, please hit the subscribe button below. You know, the home team coming into this one on the back of defeat though, as Kyle Watson's early goal was enough to separate them as a fellow playoff chasers, but the Stockport County at home last week. However, prior to that defeat, they suffered just one loss in the EFL Trophy against Stevenage in 15 matches across all competitions. So Manchester City endured a very tough run through late autumn, but the most of the winter before some improved performances and results within the last month or so. However, capitulations are still happening with a 4-2 loss at Paris Saint-Germain, but after leading 2-0 and then a 5-1 demolition at the hands of Arsenal last weekend. Happening in recent times, but Leyton Orient has been excellent as the season has gone on, with Richie Welling's attacking approach as an forefront of that, as they showed by their 6-2 win at Exeter City recently. However, City should still come out on top, and what could actually be an entertaining for a natural. But I'm going Man City 3-0. I just can't see an upset whatsoever. So that's why I'm going for Man City to win 3-0. Next up, Coventry City versus Ipswich. The Frank Lampard has enjoyed a mixed but generally positive start to his time as Coventry City boss ahead of their FA Cup 4th round tie with the Premier League side Ipswich Town this week. Coventry have been generally impressive as they adapt to Frank Lampard's appointment, with Ipswich Town focusing on ensuring they can survive in the Premier League this season. But the Sky Blues do come into this one on the back of a 2-0 defeat at home to Leeds United during the week, and thanks to goals from Jayden Bongal and Joe Priory. Prior to that loss though, Coventry had enjoyed 3 successive victories in the Championship as they maintained their faint hopes of squeezing themselves into the top 6, but the playoff spots in the second tier. But Ipswich Town, on the other hand, have proven themselves to be competitive in the top flight. But a poor month of performances have results leave them in a position whereby immediate relegation can now be seen as a likelihood, and that view has been strengthened by their 2-1 defeat to the bottom of the table, Southampton, at the Portman Road last weekend. Coventry, with the playoffs seemingly unlikely, will probably go with a strong team here as they try and emulate last season's relative success of reaching the semi-finals of this competition. But Ipswich, on the other hand, would be appeared likely to heavily rotate, so an upset could be on here. And I predicted an upset. I think Coventry I think Coventry will beat Ipswich 2-1 to progress through to the last 16. And now, an all Premier League matchup is Ipswich versus Bournemouth. David Moyes returned to Goodison Park in what it's a final season, but still be a fairy tale happening as they chase FA Cup glory in the visit of FC Bournemouth to Liverpool this week. Everton have been much improved since the appointment of Moyes, but with survival in the Premier League still the priority ahead of the visit of the top four chasing FC Bournemouth this weekend. The Toffees coming into this one on the back of a impressive 4-0 demolition of fellow strugglers Leicester City at the Goodison Park last weekend, thanks to a bento brace as well as goals scored by Alme Nade, or I can't pronounce the surname, sorry, and Abdelo Neo Dorcares. To be honest, I'm useless with pronunciations, but they have now enjoyed 3 successive victories in the Premier League after wins against Tottenham and Brighton before that. So, Bournemouth on the other hand suffered a 2-0 defeat to home to my team Liverpool last weekend due to Mo Salah brace, but the respectable defeat at the Invitely Stadium ended on what was a 12-match unbeaten run of form across all competitions. The Cherries currently just a few points outside of the top 4 and UEFA Champions League qualification spots. David Moyes is now a trophy winning the manager, having won the UEFA Europa Conference League with West Ham United, and Everton will want to go deep into this FA Cup campaign with a survival now all but assured. Bournemouth may rest and rotate, but they're always entertaining to watch. This one is too close to call, but Everton just coming on the back of a 4-0 win over Leicester, but they're coming in like a much improved since the appointment David Moyes comes in. But while Sean Dyche was sacked, FC Bournemouth just ended a 12-match unbeaten run come to an end against even though they lost to Liverpool 2-0, but it was like, they gave it a go, but Liverpool were too strong, in the other day last weekend. But it's a real tough one to call, but my heart is telling me, Everton, and my head is telling me Bournemouth, but I think Everton will just edge this. I'm going for 2-1 to Everton. 2-1 to the Evertonians. Right, FA Cup. And next up, Preston versus Wickham. The Championship side, Preston North End, sit trucked firmly in the middle of the second division table as they take on League One automatic promotion chasers Wickham Wanderers. Preston North End, under the management of Paul Hectonbottom, have eased their way into the middle of the table in the second tier after what was a poor start to the campaign, but the Lancashirians coming into this one of a 2-1 defeat to local rivals Blackburn Rovers at Ewood Park. In their most recent outing last weekend, Brighton at defeat to playoff chasing Rovers. The host has been unbeaten in their previous 5 matches across all competitions, suffering just 1 defeat in their previous 8 games. Wickham Wanderers lost manager Matt Bloomfield to Luton Town in January, despite the fact that the Chairboys are pushing automatic promotion to the second tier. But they did spend a big over the course of the window, spend a lot of money for that. 38-year-old Mike Dodds, who has been interim coach of Sunderland on 3 occasions, and he has been appointed in his first game at Deepdale, but Dodds managed just 2 victories in 13 matches as Sunderland's interpreted coach last season. So there'll be a bit more like pacificisms from Wickham supporters, but despite their attacking and entertaining style, but Preston are difficult to beat and have the home advantage. They are firm favourites, but Preston will edge it 2-1. 2-1. And next up, let's go for Southampton. Next up, Southampton versus Burnley. Southampton, despite a much-needed victory last weekend, are still bound for a championship last season. But while as Burnley push for an automatic promotion back to the top flight, so Ivan Jurek earned his first league win as Southampton boss last weekend, and the Saints now welcome to Scott Parker's relentless defence. But frustrating to watch to Burnley this weekend, but Southampton coming into this one on the back of a 2-0 win away at Ipswich Town at Portman Road. But the Saints' improved performances now finally getting a second win of the 2024-25 Premier League campaign. But they dispatched of Swansea City by 3-0 in the third round last month, thanks to an excellent performance by Tyler Dibley. But Scott Parker has grinded his way to 2 championship promotions with Fulham and FC Bournemouth. He is doing so the same, but the Clarets edged past Oxford United by 2-0 at the weekend, and they have conceded just 9 goals all season in the second tier, with 21 clean sheets in that time, scoring 37 goals in 31 games. In those 37 in 31 and 14 of them, they have come just 3 matches, but they have struck inside the top 2 on the automatic promotion spots on goal difference with Sheffield United. Southampton may well find it difficult to break Burnley down. A low scoring bet in favour of the visitors may be good value, but I'm edging the Saints 1-0. Go away, Fly. Go on. Go away. Come on. Go away. You're just bothering my ruin my video now. Go on. That wind up anyway. Right. Stoke City versus Cardiff, but these two sides will consider themselves as both involved in a championship relegation battle, where Stoke City and Cardiff City sit 5 and 4 points above the drop zone respectively. Both of these sides will have been headed into the season expected to be able to challenge towards the top 6 and playoff places. They are instead looking over their shoulders, but Stoke City, on their third permanent manager of the campaign in Mark Robbins after sackings of Steven Schumacher and Nicholas Plage, but earned their first win inside 90 minutes of the Robbins earlier last weekend, beating the fellow strugglers Hull City 2-1. And Cardiff, who have sacked Ultimate Burt in September, didn't approach in his replacement, but didn't replace his. They got a new manager now, but until December they have improved Razor, but they remain just a few points clear of the drop zone. That 7-0 toweling of Leeds United been a humiliating one. So Mark Robbins lead Coventry City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup last season. They were cruelly beaten by Manchester United after half-time, but his Potters won after extra time at Sunderland last month, and with home advantage will hope to continue their improved form here. But I'm going for Stoke City to win 3-1. Stoke to win 3-1. And then next up, League One side Wigan Athletic, firmly installed the middle of the third tier table, now welcome European qualification chasing Fulham side to the DW Stadium this weekend. But Sean Maloney was part of Wigan Athletic that shockingly won the 2013 FA Cup with a victory over Manchester City in the final. That seems to be like 12 years ago now. Like 12 years ago, they're coming on the back of a 1-1 draw at home to Lincoln City last weekend continued their inconsistent run of form with 5 victories and 2 draws and 4 defeats in their last 4 matches across all competition. But Fulham, on the other hand, most recently came from behind to defeat Newcastle by 2-1 at St James's Park last weekend, thanks to strikes from Rodrigo Mures and Raul Yemez. The Cottagers sit 9th in the Premier League with the top 8 spots expected to earn UEFA competition qualification this season, and that's why Fulham are in good form. Fulham have a strong side with a strong squad, with Marco Silva wanting to make 11 changes up to Lancashire, but they will still be able to put out a very impressive side. But Wigan have little to play for in the league, but they are still unlikely to be able to hurt Fulham too much. I'm going Fulham to win 3-1. Right, next up, Birmingham versus Newcastle. Birmingham City have enjoyed an impressive campaign after a big summer of spending, with the Blues looking for an upset as they welcome EFL Cup finalist Newcastle United to St James's Park, to St Andrews anyway. Who would Birmingham cause an upset or something after spending over 30 million in the summer following their surprise relegation to League One? Birmingham City have been, as expected, relentless and dominant in the third tier. The Blues coming into this one on the back of a slender 1-0 defeat to Stevenage in the quarterfinals of the EFL Trophy, thanks to their 15 million striker Jan Stansfield. But they are already 4 points clear of the top of the table in League One with 2 games in hand. They have been sensational in League One, but they have suffered just 3 defeats in 36 matches across all competitions so far this season. Newcastle United completed their 2-legged defeat of Arsenal in the semi-finals of the EFL Cup in midweek. That was Wednesday, defeating Arsenal by 2-0 at St James's Park to win 4-0 on aggregate. The Magpies have won 11 of their last 13 matches, but they have also chased potential Champions League qualification this season. Eddie Howe could attempt to rotate quite heavily ahead of their trip down to the second city this weekend, with the cup final due to next month on that ongoing top 4 chase. But given that it could well be good value side to a potential upset this weekend, but I'm going for Newcastle to win 3-1. I think it's just a bridge step too far. I think, yeah, Newcastle 3-1. And maybe Isak will score, probably a hat-trick or something. Or probably Anthony Gordon as well, yeah. Right, Brighton versus Chelsea. Brighton Hove Albion boss, like Fabian Herzler, is under a bit of pressure as an inconsistent Chelsea side travel down to the Amex Stadium of this FA Cup 4th round tie this weekend. Fabian Herzler was, from the outside, enjoying a decent start to the Premier League, but the Seagulls supporters have been unhappy for a while. They have only intensified of late. The reason of the pressure have grown so much in the last weekend, so it's because Brighton coming into this one on the back of a 7-0 demolition at the hands of Nottingham Forest at the City Ground last weekend. And Matt and Sophie was there, and I thought, there's no way Nottingham Forest thrashing Brighton 7-0, and that was bloody awesome. Oh my God. And they now managed just 3 victories, and 2 in which coming against the Championships, Norwich City, and struggling Ipswich Town in the last 13 matches. And Chelsea coming into this one off the back of a much needed come from behind to 2-1 defeat of West Ham United at Stamford Bridge. And last week, thanks to a second half goal from Pedro Neto, as well as Aaron Wan-Bissaka own goal, and that victory was Chelsea's 2nd win in their last 8 Premier League matches. Chelsea have been thrilling to watch throughout the campaign. With their form has been tailed off a little bit, with their 24 games in the league conceding of 68 goals. And that's exciting style should allow Brighton to play on the front foot themselves. All belted, they prefer being more patient in either way, but both teams scoring seems likely. I'm going for Brighton 1, Chelsea 3. But I don't see that 7-0 happening. I don't see that happening anyway. Right, Blackburn Rovers versus... Right, Blackburn Rovers versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. What a win for Wolverhampton Wanderers, I would say. Anyway, like beating Aston Villa by 2-0. Brilliant, and that was what a result for Wolves, beating 2-0. I do not see that coming. Anyway, last weekend, a huge win for Wolverhampton Wanderers in their bid of survival as well. They will take on Blackburn Rovers away at Ewood Park, just coming on the back of a 2-1 loss to QPR on Tuesday. But this will be a tough one to call. But a lot of people think Blackburn could knock out Wolves, but I'm going for Wolverhampton Wanderers to win 2-1. And next up, Plymouth Argyle. Right, Plymouth Argyle versus Liverpool. Pie Faces team Plymouth will face my team Liverpool. Fresh from advancing to the one domestic final, Liverpool endured to further their chances of the FA Cup glory at the home park on Sunday, where Plymouth Argyle provide a 4th round test. And do you know what? It's a long trip from Liverpool to Plymouth. That is a long trip for our Liverpool fans, but we'll be watching this on Sunday. But Arne Slot's men, yeah, okay. Arne Slot's men searched to a routine 4-0 win over Accrington Stanley in their 3rd round tie, with their hosts pulled off one of the latest upsets away to Brentford last time out. That was one of the biggest upsets you will see. And Liverpool just coming on the back of a 4-0 win over Tottenham Hotspur to send them through to the final in Wembley against Newcastle. But Liverpool are in terrific form. Confidence level could not be higher in both camps ahead of Sunday's 4th round battle, where rejuvenated Plymouth side could ask questions of a much changed Liverpool defence. However, the Reds' powerless in the final third will tell. Eventually, Slot's men should punch their seats to the 4th round with relative ease, and Liverpool will win it quite comfortably. As a Liverpool fan, I think we're going to smash Plymouth. Sorry Plymouth fans. Sorry Pie Face. I'm going for Liverpool to win 4-1, and maybe Virgil van Dijk, Diogo Jota, possibly Mo Salah, brace. I think. Yep. Right then. Aston Villa versus... Aston Villa, the big game we're all looking forward to. Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur, already reeling off from one doze from the knockout, heartache. Tottenham Hotspur could see another shot at silverware passed them by when they travelled to West Midlands for Sunday's FA Cup 4th round dates with Aston Villa. So Ange Postecoglou's sorry side were smashed 4-0 by Liverpool in Thursday's EFL semi-final, second leg at Anfield. But while the Lions have had a week to reflect on their 2-0 loss to near neighbours Wolverhampton Wanderers. But this could go either way anyway. So Spurs did beat Brentford 2-0 at Getz Community Stadium, but I would say I'm going for Villa to yeah. Tottenham may have won 9 of their last 10 away matches, but against Aston Villa in all tournaments, but the history books should mean a little on Sunday, where Postecoglou's men arrive fragile, low on numbers, but even low on confidence, as Emery's men have enjoyed a week off Champions League duty. But the Lions have now voted to comfortably put Tottenham to the sword, leaving the Lily Whites with the only Europa League to fight for. But yeah, possibly it could go either way. But I'm just edging towards Villa just. But it's just a flip of a coin. It's just a flip of a coin anyway. I'm going for Villa to win 2-1. Right. Next up, Crystal Palace versus Doncaster. Wouldn't see like one of the upsets of the tournament, but Doncaster, second in League Two. You know, coming on the 5-0 drubbing of Chesterfield last night. And Crystal Palace just coming on the back of a 2-0 win over Manchester United. They have improved a bit lately, but they all fancy their chances of doing the job. I think that they will do tonight. I think they will do on Monday, but Palace to win 2-0. Right. And then finally, Exeter City versus Nottingham Forest. Right, Exeter City versus Nottingham Forest. Yeah, so Exeter City produced an upset in the third round. They'll be searching from something approach. A giant killing against Nottingham Forest in the fourth round at St James's Park. That will be in Exeter, not Newcastle. Cheeky. Exeter City have left their league form slip, but although they remain firmly in the middle of the table, ahead of facing top four chasing Premier League side Nottingham Forest. Gary Caldwell's Lecces defeated Championship side Oxford United last month, but the hosts coming into this one on the back of a 4-1 hammering at the hands of Stevenage last weekend and making it 3 successive defeats, and they have now managed to collect just 2 points in their last 8 matches since the back end of 2024. Nottingham Forest suffered a 5-0 loss to AFC Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, but they returned to form with a 7-0 demolition of Brighton Hove Albion at the King Power Stadium last weekend. Nero Espirito Santo's pride is likely to ensure they finish in the top 4 or 5 in the Premier League and earn a shock Champions League qualification. Despite the fact that they are likely the visitors' top priority, they have converted something of a deep squad, but so even in a rotate will be strong here. Exeter with home advantage will fancy their chances of hurting their opponents, but Forest do remain firm favourites. But Nottingham Forest, I'm going Forest all the way. I'm going 4-0 to Forest. And that's my predictions for the FA Cup 4th round. Leave on your comments below, and before that, hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!